Today, 3 men pleaded guilty to lesser charges in connection to a 2014 murder.
As Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis sits in jail tonight, her attorneys are calling out Governor Beshear why they say there is a simple fix to getting Davis out of jail.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good afternoon to you. They say it started as a fight. Tonight we are hearing from 3 people charged in connection to the 2014 shooting death of Antonio Franklin. 18-year-old Nasheem Dixon, 18-year-old William Dixon, and 18-year-old Brian Brown pled guilty today to reduced charges. None of them were charged with murder. Our Monique Blair is at the courthouse. She tells us what the teens say that led up to that deadly shooting in our top story at 5:30.
Police say 21-year-old Antonio Franklin was an innocent bystander in Duncan Park when he was shot in April 2014. He died a few days later. Now, after today's court hearing, all 4 men arrested and charged in connection to Franklin's death have pleaded guilty to lesser charges. And today we're learning just a little insight into what these men say happened leading up to Franklin's death. The 3 men in court today, Nasheem Dixon, William Dixon, and Brian Brown, all 18 years old, say on an April day in 2014 there was an altercation between the 3 of them and 3 other guys.
The 3 of you were fighting Demetrius Washington and Jordan Searcy and Damian Sanders. Okay. Fist fighting. Knocked down, dragged out.
In court today, Nasheem Dixon told Judge Pamela Goodwine that later in the day after that physical fight, they were driving around and spotted the 3 guys from the earlier fight in Duncan Park.
Right there, I seen Jordan. I didn't know what was going to happen at the time, so I just acted off impulse. Shot at him.
Last week during a court appearance, Damian Sanders told Judge Goodwine he was in the park and shot back at the 3 guys because he feared for his life. Last week during a court hearing, we learned it was the bullet from Damian Sanders' gun that ultimately killed Antonio Franklin. Sanders pleaded guilty to second-degree manslaughter and was sentenced to 7 years. In Lexington, Monique Blair, WKYT.
All 3 of the men in court today will be sentenced in October. We continue to follow a developing story out of Carter County. Attorneys for Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis say there is an easy fix to getting Davis out of jail. Davis has been in jail since a judge found her in contempt of court yesterday for not issuing marriage licenses. She met with her attorneys this afternoon at the Carter County Jail, and after that meeting, her attorneys told the media that Davis has no intention of issuing marriage licenses or resigning as county clerk. Attorney Matt Staver says if the governor would modify the marriage licenses, she could go back to work.
But here we've given many points of accommodation, the easiest of which is that the form would not only remove her name but her title as the clerk of Rowan County from the marriage certificates. They could be issued through some central authority. They could be filed just like a lien or other document is filed or recorded, but it cannot have Kim Davis's name or her authority as the clerk on that certificate.
Staver also said that any marriage licenses issued today in Rowan County said they are void because they are not being issued by the authority of the clerk, but ACLU attorneys say they are legal. Now, while Davis sits in jail, the Rowan County Courthouse has been busy. For the first time in 2 months, the Rowan County Clerk's office started issuing those marriage licenses. At least 4 same-sex couples showed up today to get their marriage licenses. The first couple showed up right after the office opened this morning, making them the first gay couple to get a marriage license in Rowan County. The couple tells us it's been a long road, but it was worth the struggle.
It felt good. It felt like change was happening, and you know, this was the hard part, really, that
we didn't feel like second-class citizens anymore.
Right.
That, you know we weren't treated, discriminated against. We felt equal, like our relationship can now be recognized by law.
The marriage licenses issued in Rowan County today do not have Clerk Kim Davis's name on them. A deputy clerk tells us that in the past, Davis would type in her name when the license was issued. In her absence, it's the deputy clerk's name that you'll find then on the license as the acting county clerk. Well, he is accused of selling a drug to another man and causing his death. A Versailles man is facing federal charges tonight after prosecutors say he gave fentanyl to someone who died from the drug. Our Miranda Combs has the details on the federal grand jury's indictment. It's a story that's new at 5:30.
The U.S. Attorney calls this the strongest narcotic painkiller on the market. Our investigations team reported on the dangers of fentanyl earlier this summer. It's 30 to 50 times more potent than heroin. At the time of our initial report, emergency rooms in Lexington were starting to see cases where it was taking double the amount of Narcan, which is a drug to reverse the effects of heroin, to bring people back from fentanyl overdoses. Now, a Versailles man has been indicted for selling the drug to another person and causing their death. The U.S. Attorney's Office says 29-year-old Gil Garrett unlawfully distributed fentanyl to someone who died as a result of the drug back in July. The indictment also says that from June to August, Garrett and another man conspired to distribute fentanyl and other drugs in Woodford County.
We're seeing an explosion of fentanyl on our streets, and it is such a dangerous drug that the increased use of fentanyl will surely lead to a dramatically increased number of deaths.
Harvey went on to say a year or two from now, we may be talking more about fentanyl than heroin. A check last week of overdose deaths in Lexington showed fentanyl outpacing heroin so far this year. Miranda Combs, WKYT.
Garrett faces a minimum of 20 years in prison and a maximum of life. A court date has not yet been set. A man faces charges tonight after police say he was doing drugs in his car while he had 2 children with him. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Laurel County. London police arrested Michael Stacy at Liberty gas station on North Main. They say an officer found him in a car with an ace bandage tied around his arm and a needle loaded with a liquid in his lap. He had 2 children in the back seat. Stacy was arrested on drug charges, assault, and endangering the welfare of a minor. The children were released to his mother-in-law. In Madison County, police are looking for a teenager who's been missing since Thursday. Richmond police say 15-year-old Michael Brown did not come home from school yesterday. A relative who has custody of Brown reported him missing. Police believe Brown may be in the Laurel County, Knox County area where his parents live. We're told that they're not allowed to have contact with him. Brown is 6 feet tall, weighs about 185 pounds, has brown hair and brown eyes. In Scott County, the state is planning to add signs at a deadly curve. 22-year-old Trevor Spencer, his 3-year-old son, and 29-year-old Corey Wilcoxon died in a crash at the intersection of Kentucky 227 and Duval Station Road in Stamping Ground almost a year ago. Now, according to the news graphic, the state transportation cabinet has announced they will place signs to warn drivers about the curvy section of that road. All right, it's going to be a toasty end to the work week, and the heat and humidity will be sticking around for the holiday weekend. Meteorologist Micah Harris has an early look now at your forecast. How about it, Micah?
Well, a huge dome of higher pressure continues to sit around us, and if it's around us, I always tell the kids when I go out to schools, think of the high pressure when you see the H, think of happy, because what it does, gives you a lot of sunshine, keeps you mainly dry. What we're looking outside, a little blip here and there, it's really nothing that's going to ruin the rest of your afternoon off into the evening. But let me span out. Look all around us. I mean, there are storms all around us, but that dome of higher pressure really keeping us dry, even severe weather to the north and back toward the east. But for us right now, we're sitting nice and dry for virtually all locations, about 95% of us. There's your Richmond Cam, I-75, north and southbound, right on the Clays Ferry Bridge, which is actually sitting there on the Fayette-Madison County line. Current temperature-wise, we're in the 90s, still in the lower 90s. That sun starts to set here in the next couple of hours. And once it does, those storms that are up to the north of us will start to calm down too. That heat and humidity, that just continues through the weekend. Feeling like the 90s. Even if you do not see the 90s, it'll be feeling that way because the moisture is outside. It's just not feeling great. It's very humid. Small chances of rain throughout your weekend. And that'll take you into Labor Day too. But are we looking at better chances for the weekend? Or your rain chance? I'll talk all about that. And your events. A lot of events going on. We'll get into that in about 10 minutes.
All right, Micah, thanks so much. How can you help an elderly relative being targeted by con artists? Sam Dick has a story of one woman who came up with a number of ways to prevent her mother from losing tens of thousands of dollars.
They were just trying to destroy her in so many ways.
Valerie is talking about her mother, who got caught up in a lottery sweepstakes scam a few years before she died. The 83-year-old was told she had won a $20 million prize, but to collect her winnings, she needed to pay the taxes.
I kept seeing unusual activities.
So Valerie spoke to the bank, and they helped her keep tabs on what her mother was doing financially.
Your mom has just came in and she has cashed a check for $1,000 in cash.
Every time Valerie tried to intervene, it turned into an argument.
I was just always the bad guy in the sense. So I was always the one that was saying no, instead of allowing her to be her own individual.
So Valerie and her family began to change their approach.
We got her an iPad, and we were able to give her luminosity and some things that were able to help her give her that same thrill without being a risk to someone victimizing her.
Valerie's mother lost $40,000 in this scheme. But once Valerie and local postal inspectors got involved, her mother began to realize she was being scammed.
The sooner you get involved, the sooner it can be stopped. And unfortunately, these fraudsters are so ruthless and relentless that they won't stop.
And that was our Sam Dick reporting. Now, if you have an elderly parent, it is important to keep an eye out for solicitations in the mail or over the phone. An important reminder, no legitimate lottery will ever ask you for money up front. All right, dust off those resumes. Still ahead on WKYT News at 5:30. How you can earn some extra cash this coming holiday season with the U.S. Postal Service.
I'm Bill Bryant. Legislative leaders continue to call for a special session to adjust laws on Kentucky marriage licenses. And EKU stands its ground in a dispute over local property taxes. The bottom line is coming up.
I'm Kristen Kennedy in Scott County, talking with a mother about what happened to her son on his bus ride home.